Aneuploid fetuses may have severe structural malformations, such as abnormalities of the central nervous system, abnormalities of the face, diaphragmatic hernia, cystic hygroma, heart defects, abnormalities of the gastrointestinal tract, abnormalities of the genitourinary system, non-immune hydrops, and abnormalities of the extremities. Although this may not always apply to cases with Down syndrome, many fetuses with trisomies 18 and 13 have many severe structural defects. The percentage of Down syndrome fetuses with serious congenital defects that can be seen on ultrasonography is only 25% in the second trimester. Cardiac structural abnormalities. Did you know that heart problems, most often ventricular septal defects and common atrioventricular canal defects, affect 50% of infants with Down syndrome? In this image, the fetal heart's apical four-chamber view reveals an inlet ventricular septal defect. A complete atrioventricular canal abnormality in the heart is shown in this transverse axial image of the fetal chest of a fetus with Down syndrome. At the center of the heart, see the single atrioventricular valve, the primum atrial septal defect, and the inlet ventricular septal defect. Not just that, over 90% of fetuses with trisomy 18 and 13 also have cardiac abnormalities. Fetal aneuploidy risk may rise if cardiac abnormalities are detected during prenatal sonography. In fetuses with sonographically identifiable cardiac abnormalities, a substantially greater prevalence of aneuploidy, from 22% to 32%, has been identified compared to postnatal investigations. Compared to isolated ventricular septal defects or valve stenosis, the incidence of aneuploidy is significantly higher for hypoplastic heart, atrioventricular canal defects, tetralogy of Fallot, or double outlet right ventricle. As you can see in this apical four-chamber view of a fetus in the third trimester, a markedly hypoplastic left heart is seen. Now let's talk about duodenal atresia. The double bubble sign, which is a dilated stomach filled with fluid and proximal duodenum, as well as evidence of polyhydramnios, typically used to diagnose duodenal atresia after 20 to 24 weeks of pregnancy. This is a Down syndrome fetus with duodenal atresia. During the third trimester, a transverse axial scan of the abdomen reveals the well-known double bubble sign together with polyhydramnios. In infants, the most common cause of gastrointestinal obstruction is duodenal atresia. Approximately one-third of instances of prenatally identified duodenal atresia have trisomy 21. When prenatal duodenal atresia is identified, invasive karyotype testing has been made available, even if this occurs in the third trimester, since it still gives essential information in counseling patients. Another structural abnormality seen is cystic hygroma. Usually located in the posterolateral region of the neck, cystic hygromas are anomalous cystic masses of lymphatic origin. This is an image of a Turner syndrome fetus with huge, septate cystic hygroma. This gross image is showing massive cystic hygroma surrounding the neck. These cases are highly susceptible to aneuploidy. In fact, more than 60% of fetuses with cystic hygroma are aneuploid. Pay attention, please. The shape and size of the hygroma, as well as the gestational age, all affect the frequency of aneuploidy. This means that large cystic hygromas, which are typically seen after 14 weeks, tend to have septations and carry a high risk of aneuploidy. Approximately 75% of pregnancies in the second trimester are linked to aneuploidy, with Turner syndrome accounting for 80% of these cases. Invasive testing need to be made available if a cervical cystic hygroma is detected during prenatal sonography. Non-immune hydrops. There are several prenatal and maternal reasons that can lead to non-immune hydrops. Ascites, pericardial effusions, pleural effusions, polyhydramnios, enlarged placenta, and skin edema are sonographically identifiable features. Moreover, up to 16% of non-immune hydrops cases can be attributed to aneuploidy. Although the exact cause of hydrops is unknown, it is thought to be related to either lymphatic dysplasia or congestive heart failure. The most common karyotype abnormalities linked to hydrops include triploidy, trisomies 21, 18, and 13, and Turner syndrome. Therefore, invasive testing need to be recommended when hydrops is identified sonographically and seems to be inexplicable. The prognosis is fatal when widespread hydrops and cystic hygroma, also known as lymphangiectasia, combine. In around 2/3 of instances, aneuploidy is linked to lymphangiectasia, particularly in Turner syndrome. So, it must thus be differentiated from hydrops that do not have a cystic hygroma. Now, let's discuss hydrothorax and fetal aneuploidies. Pleural effusion or hydrothorax has been associated with aneuploidy, particularly trisomy 13, Down syndrome, and Turner syndrome. In this image, the heart is pushed to the right side of the chest by a large unilateral pleural effusion, that is shown by the asterisk. Therefore, any time hydrothorax is detected on prenatal sonography, fetal karyotype analysis must be made available. Diaphragmatic hernia. The cause of a diaphragmatic hernia is a congenital abnormality in the fetal diaphragm that causes the abdominal viscera to herniate into the fetal chest. A transverse image of the fetal chest reveals a diaphragmatic hernia on the left side. The heart is shifted to the right side of the chest cavity, revealing the stomach, bowel, and liver. Chromosomal abnormalities such Down syndrome, Turner syndrome, trisomy 18, which is the most prevalent, trisomy 13, and other abnormalities are more likely to occur in people with this abnormality. Therefore, any time this abnormality is discovered during pregnancy, karyotype testing need to be made available. Now, let's discuss omphalocele. When there is a central abdominal wall defect, intra-abdominal tissues herniate into the membrane-covered base of the umbilical cord, resulting in an omphalocele. In this image there is a large liver in a fetus in the second trimester with omphalocele. Also note that the omphalocele exceeds the size of the original fetal abdomen. In over half of the instances that are detected prenatally, omphaloceles are linked to other fetal abnormalities that include aneuploidy. Whenever an omphalocele is detected, patients should be offered invasive karyotype testing. Also note that the risk of aneuploidy is greater in omphaloceles with intracorporeal liver than in those with extracorporeal liver. Now, let's talk about cerebral ventriculomegaly. A frequent diagnosis is cerebral ventriculomegaly, which is identified when the atrial diameter of the cranial lateral ventricle exceeds 10 mm or greater. This is frequently related to the choroid plexuses, dangling, or relative shrinkage, or the inability to completely fill the lateral ventricle's diameter. Even mild ventriculomegaly raises the possibility of developing aneuploidies like Down syndrome. In contrast, it could also be observed as a typical variation in male fetuses, and later in the second trimester, after 20 weeks of gestation, when there is no choroid plexus dangling. Agenesis of the corpus callosum. The agenesis of the corpus callosum may be complete or partial. The lack of the complex made up of the corpus callosum and covum septum pellucidum, in addition to other sonographic abnormalities such as colpocephaly, are all indirect signs for the diagnosis. This fetal ultrasound shows agenesis of the corpus callosum. Arrows point to the widely spaced frontal horns with absence of the covum septum pellucidum. Agenesis of the corpus callosum can be detected by a disproportionate expansion of the occipital horns, colpocephaly, shown with the asterisk, or the typical teardrop sign of the lateral ventricles on a transverse axial scan across the ventricle. Aneuploidy is found in approximately 20% of cases, and mostly include trisomies 18, 8, and 13. Holoprosencephaly. A brain condition known as holoprosencephaly is caused by partial or incomplete division of the prosencephalon, or embryonic forebrain, and inadequate creation of the midline structures. Holoprosencephaly is a brain disorder characterized by insufficient formation of the midline structures and partial or incomplete division of the prosencephalon, or embryonic forebrain. Alabar, semilobar, and lobar types are the three main forms of holoprosencephaly, which vary in terms of the degree of anatomic abnormality. Of fetuses with alabar or semilobar holoprosencephaly, 50% to 60% have aneuploidy overall. Trisomy 13 or a variation of trisomy 13 is the most prevalent form of chromosomal abnormality, accounting for 50% to 75% of individuals with aberrant karyotypes. However, a wide range of additional aneuploid types have also been documented. This is a transaxial image of a trisomy 13 fetus's head reveals alabar holoprosencephaly. A single monoventricle, referred to by the asterisk, encircles the fused thalami, referred to by the letter T on the image. There have been reports of holoprosencephaly in 39% in fetuses with trisomy 13. The risk for aneuploidy is higher when holoprosencephaly is combined with extrafacial or facial abnormalities. And this finally takes us to facial anomalies. Fetuses or newborns with karyotypic abnormalities frequently have facial malformations. A flattened profile, sloping forehead, retrognathia, or micrognathia are possible signs of some karyotypically defective pregnancies or newborns. This sagittal scan shows severe micrognathia in an abnormal facial profile, referred to by an arrow. Cleft lip and palate. Did you know that cleft lip and palate has been associated with aneuploidy, especially trisomy 13 and 18, particularly when it coexists with other anomalies or deformities of the central nervous system? This is an illustration of the fetal face in 3 dimensions that shows a unilateral cleft lip. Another 3-dimensional image of the fetus's face displaying bilateral cleft lip. According to a recent study, aneuploidy was found in 0%, 32%, 59%, and 82% of fetuses with unilateral cleft lip and palate, bilateral cleft lip and palate, and median cleft lip and palate, respectively. Ocular anomalies. Fetal karyotype abnormalities can be associated with ocular abnormalities such as cyclopia, microphthalmia, aneuploidy, hypotelorism, and hypertelorism. Most importantly, the likelihood of aneuploidy is significantly increased when they are observed together with other abnormalities, particularly holoprosencephaly. Our last structural abnormality we discuss in this video are the genitourinary abnormalities. The fetuses with urethrovesical obstruction, also known as bladder neck obstruction, have been shown to have the greatest prevalence of aneuploidy, most frequently trisomy 18 or 13.